Hello, this is the third episode in my series, Reasoning There's a God. In the last video, I recommended we use our basic knowledge of the universe to determine the necessary attributes the Creator needs to have to create the whole universe. In this episode, I'll be discussing the first of these 5 attributes. And we're going to be talking about aliens, so bear with me. The Creator's power must exceed what is necessary to create the universe. I'm aware when thinking of God's abilities, it's easy to think of attributes like omnipotence. Usually, omnipotence means all-powerful or infinite in power. I prefer saying all-powerful, meaning specifically power over everything. Remember, in this study, I want to base the range of the Creator's abilities on what we know about His creation. In this case, the limit of the Creator's power only has to be an undefined limit beyond the power needed to create the universe. Defining this attribute in this way means primitive people don't need to understand the concept of infinity to know this attribute. Let's now consider the minimum power needed to create the universe. You might have noticed the universe is really big. Before the 20th century, we believed the stars that make up our galaxy was the entire universe. But in 1924, Edwin Hubble discovered spiral nebulae were actually galaxies of stars outside of our own galaxy. And now scientists believe the observable universe is around 100 billion light years across, and maybe even larger. Just in our galaxy, there are some 200 billion stars. And there are somewhere between 200 billion and 2 trillion galaxies at last count. And we have found much more than stars. There are black holes and pulsars and quasars, rocky worlds and gas giants, protostars and stellar remnants, asteroids, comets, interstellar gases, and nebulae. And that's just what we can see. All this energy and matter was created in the first instances of the universe. This is too big to even fathom, so let's consider the sun for a moment. In the sun's core, hydrogen undergoes fusion into helium. 4 million tons of hydrogen is converted into pure energy every second. For comparison, the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima converted less than 2 grams of matter into energy. The sun is really just a nuclear explosion going off continuously. The only reason it doesn't blow itself apart is because of the immense gravity it possesses. There's a profound amount of power on display every time I look up, whether it's night or day. I don't think we can assume 1 watt of physical power is equivalent to 1 watt of spiritual power. But if the physical power on display is so far above comprehending, how much more unfathomable is the supernatural power of the Creator? Defining the Creator's power in this way means the Creator should be able to demonstrate His control over nature without Him displaying infinite power. We likely wouldn't survive a display of infinite power. Among people who believe in God or gods, divine power is easiest to accept. Previously, I alluded to an opposing argument contributed to Arthur C. Clarke. I've heard it like this: any super advanced alien race would seem all-powerful to primitive humans. Clarke said, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And at times it's said, any sufficiently advanced extraterrestrial intelligence is indistinguishable from God. This argument puts forth the notion we wouldn't be able to tell the difference between technological abilities and control over the whole universe. In examining this reasoning, let's first consider it to be false. This would mean there are some things impossible for any race, despite whatever technology they have. In physics, there's a natural order to the universe, and all laws of nature adhere to this order. Even alien technology would fall into the bounds of these natural laws. If you assume we don't know these laws of nature, we would expect to have some idea of what they are. Though having a primitive understanding, we would know the sun rises and sets, how matter basically behaves, that lead sinks, wood burns, and everything living dies eventually. And it would be reasonable to assume we could distinguish the difference between a remote control and telekinesis, or a defibrillator and a miracle. That would be my logical guess, but let's consider the evidence available to us. First, despite the myth, the consensus view among historians is that Native American peoples didn't believe Europeans were white gods. Second, even to this day, the primitive people of the Sentinelese Island will shoot arrows at helicopters passing over instead of giving the divine reverence the Huey deserves. Now, on the other hand, let's consider the possibility advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. This means we could be duped by some alien race. Ultimately, extraordinary power alone isn't enough to show who the Creator is. We would need at least one more attribute to distinguish the difference between advanced technology and the power to create the universe. I have a friend who said the only way he would believe in God would be if God came down in a large ball of light and said, "Here I am God." I told him I would need more evidence than that. At the very least, I would need to get out my spectrometer and see what he was made up of before I believed. The Creator would need to do something physically impossible to demonstrate His power over the natural laws of the universe. And not just something impossible for us to do, but something impossible for anybody, anywhere, at any moment in time to do. Later, when we examine the evidence, we'll need to keep this idea in mind. So brace yourselves for that. For now, I'd like to hear your thoughts. What kind of power would the Creator have to show? And how would this demonstration of power be beyond all natural ability? Leave your ideas in the comments. I would like to thank you for watching my videos. In conclusion, the Creator would need to demonstrate His power over the laws of nature. And based on the argument from Clark, I think we can all agree this can't be the only attribute. Remember, in this study, we are reasoning the limit of the Creator's abilities based on His creation. I'm going to end this video with a few words of encouragement for Christian believers. If you consider yourself a Christian, please stick around. Thanks to everyone watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of you in the next episode. Goodbye for now. I have one more thing I would like to point out. You may feel my thinking puts a limit on God's power, even if it's enough power to create the universe. But I have this secret to share with you. I believe this limit isn't a limit on His power, but a limit on the standard I'm using to measure His power against. That is to say, the observable universe. Ultimately, we need a greater standard than creation to measure His abilities by. For now, I want to push human thinking to the limit. It's amazing to me how far our reasoning can take us, but in the end, it won't be enough. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor your ways my ways, says the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts above your thoughts. For just as the rain and the snow comes down from the heavens, and doesn't return until it has watered the earth, making it fertile and fruitful, giving seed for the one who sows, and bread for those who eat, so shall my word be that issues forth from my mouth. It will not return to me unfulfilled, but it will accomplish my purpose and achieve what I sent it forth to do. Isaiah 55:8. Thank you all for watching.